Aaron Wills here, bringing you another random rambling video. I started this on Sunday, April 6th, 2025 at 9:45 a.m. Along with welcoming you to my channel, allow me to thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe before sharing this video and turning on the post notification bell. Whether you guys like it or not, I've been talking about the chess I've been playing. I got my nose open. I've been playing a lot of chess. I have a passion for playing chess, but I just don't do very well. So I've been telling you how many games I've played and how I did in those games each day. So I'll just tell you, in case there are some of you who do care. I'll tell you, I played just one game this morning when I first woke up on chess.com against a real player, a real person, and I got mated. That's all there is to it. I got mated. I don't know how many points I lost for that. Not my score, but my rating was 525 at the start of the day. I got mated in one game. I'm probably down in the teens again. 5 teens. I'll get it up. It's not real important for me to get my rating up. Although my username is striving for 4 digits, it's not really that important to me. Well, it is. I want to get better at chess, and I'd like to see my rating go up on chess.com. I had one account a while back in which I got my rating up to 1200 on chess.com, but for whatever reason, they took that account down. I guess it got closed or something happened. I wasn't cheating. I don't know why they closed it. I don't cheat at chess. I wouldn't know how to cheat at chess, even online. I definitely couldn't cheat over the board. The only way I could cheat at chess over the board is to not give up my queen for free every fucking time. The old Botez Gambit. That's what Alexandra Botez calls it. The Botez Gambit, when you give up your queen for free. She claims she does it a lot. I hung mate like 8 moves in a row yesterday and wound up winning the game. He just didn't see it. I didn't see it either. I couldn't have gotten out of it. It was forced. I couldn't have gotten out of it. There's nothing I couldn't know where I could have gone if he would have played. If he'd have played his queen to a certain square, like 8 moves in a row, I would have lost the game. But I wound up winning the game because he didn't see he missed mate. I hung mate for like 8 moves in a row. I could have sacrificed my queen to get out of mate, but I don't know. He still would have had it because he had a pawn on the second rank, playing black, and I couldn't stop it from promoting, probably to a queen. So I would have sacrificed my queen. He would have had 2 queens. I would have lost the game anyway. So I'm glad he missed them. I didn't see it either. He missed 8 moves in a row. He missed mate and 1. That's just luck. So the only way I could cheat over the board is to either quit giving my queen away for free or to quit hanging mate and 1. Which I'll never stop that, so I won't be cheating over board. Not that I'm not willing to stop it, it's just that I can't stop it because I'm too much of a fat fucking idiot when I play chess. Some people are just naturally good. There's been 12-year-old grandmasters. They're just prodigy. They're just naturally good at chess. They started playing probably when they were 4 or 5 and just picked it up and became, the best you can be at chess, a grandmaster. I was 12 when I first started playing chess. But I didn't really continue playing until I was in my adulthood. When I was an adult. But my uncle taught me how to play when I was 12. He was an avid chess player. I don't know how good he was. I don't remember how good he was. I know he taught me the moves and how to play. He didn't really teach me any strategy, though. He just taught me what the pieces do and, some of the rules. He told me the rules and how the pieces move and all of that. He just didn't teach me any strategy, any opening theories or anything. I don't know if he even knew them. But I remember him, really liking to play. That's it. I wouldn't say he's good. I don't know if he was good. I just remember he liked to play a lot. Now, like I said, I was like 11 or 12. So I don't remember much about the situation. I'm now 50. I don't remember much about being 11 and 12, except the girls that I liked when I was 12. I was in love with a girl named Cara Figuera, or Figuera, Cara Figuera, which I don't think her last name rhymes with her first name, but that's how they pronounce it, because it's so close. It's spelled like Gura, so I call her Cara Figuera. She also had a sister named Crystal Figuera. But I was in love with Cara Figuera when I was 12. She was a year older than me, or a grade higher than me. So I guess when I was in 5th grade, she was in 6th grade. When I was in 4th grade, she was in 5th grade. But man, she was a cutie. Freckles. I was such a sucker for red hair and freckles when I was in grade school. And I still think they're cute, redheaded girls with freckles. But when I was in high school, but when I was in grade school, man, there was a lot of girls in my class that had red hair and freckles. And, ooh, I fell in love with all of them. Not literally in love, but I had super crushes on all of them. How do I get talking about the girls I liked? Oh, because I said I didn't remember much about being 11 and 12. But I did learn the rules and how to play chess from that age. So when I was an adult, I don't know what got me into chess, seriously, but I started renting books from the library on openings and middle games and even the end game. And now I understand opposition. I know how to promote a pawn with king and pawn. I know how to force mate with king and queen versus king, or even maybe king and pawns. I don't know. I know how to force mate with king and queen against king. I know how to do that. Not that that's very hard, but I learned that by reading books. I didn't know how to do that until I read books. I learned how to capture en passant when my uncle taught me. I understood that it's different. A lot of the rules. He taught me all of the rules, and I remembered all the rules and how all the pieces moved. But as I became older, I decided I wanted to learn more about chess. So I started reading books from the library on chess. Like I said, opening games, the opening game, the middle game, and the end game. Books on all of those. Now I have a decent end game against the random noob. I could probably beat them in the end game. I'd say the end game is probably the best part of my game. I don't know much about opening theories, or I don't know very many openings. I know the names of a lot of openings, but I don't really know how to exploit them or to make them work for me, playing white or black. I know the Sicilian defense simply consists of e4, c5. White plays e4, which is moving the king's pawn twice, and then black plays c5, moving the c-pawn twice. And that prevents I'm trying to think of what the queen's pawn twice would be. The d4 pawn? No. Yeah, d4. c5 prevents white from playing d4, which is the idea. Two pawns in the middle, attacks a lot of squares in the middle of the board, and really takes control of the center. And that's the point of the opening, is to control the center of the board. That, and to develop early. You want to develop early in the opening. You want a castle. You want to bring all your soldiers to the fight before you start an attack. Feingold. I remember he used to say that. I think he used to say all the soldiers to the army before you start an attack. Something he used to say. Ben Feingold was the resident GM at the St. Louis Chess Club. I'm born and raised in St. Louis, and I'm very proud of the St. Louis Chess Club. Apparently, it's nationally known. It's held some very big tournaments, that players from all over the world come to. It's a big deal. It's not a big. I don't know if it's a big deal, but it's a pretty big deal. It's had Magnus Carlsen's come here in a very famous tournament where he walked out and suggested that Hans Niemann was cheating. I believe was in the St. Louis Chess Club. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But I think that was while he was here. He played Hans Niemann, and apparently Hans Niemann beat him, but was playing differently than he had played in other tournaments, or when he'd played recently in other tournaments, whatever. Or even in the way he played in the same tournament against other players. He was playing differently, and that's why Magnus Carlsen was suspicious. I don't even know if Magnus lost. I imagine he lost, or he wouldn't have walked out. But he didn't necessarily lose. He just suspected that he was cheating. And so, if there's cheating going on, he just didn't want to play, so he left. I don't know if it was the fault of the security of the St. Louis Chess Club. I hope not. But for whatever reason, Magnus Carlsen walked out of that tournament and then alluded to the fact that Hans Niemann was cheating. I don't know if he ever just came out and flat out said. At first, he said I really shouldn't talk about it, or I shouldn't say any more. He tweeted a comment from apparently a soccer coach who said that, referring to something else, meaning the same thing. So that's how they determined that he was suggesting Hans Niemann was cheating. And then later, I think he is now flat out saying he thought he was cheating. And then there was some silly kind of got blown up about him using anal beads to cheat. Someone said that as a joke, and then that kind of took off. And so now people are suggesting Hans Niemann used anal beads to cheat. And when Magnus Carlsen was on the Joe Rogan Experience, Joe Rogan's partner said that there's a certain buzz for the letter, and then certain more buzzes for the number to move to. The chess squares, if you don't play, are labeled by number and letter. On the first row, there is A through H. Playing white, it's A1 through H1. So A1, B1, C1, D1, E1, F1, G1, H1. You could have figured that out. You could have figured that out on your own, of course. And then on the back row, it's all 8. So it goes backward from H to A. As you look at the board and read from left to right, it goes from H8 to A8, going backward. H8 to A8, going backward. And so that means on playing white, the second row is the second rank, or second row. Is it the rank or row? I forget. It's a rank. The row is up and down, I believe. No. Is it the rank? Yeah, I think going across is the rank. I don't know. And the row, no, it's a file. Going up and down is a file, so it's the rank. The first row is the first rank. The last row is the last rank. That would be the 8th rank. The first rank goes from the first rank to the 8th rank. And then up and down in the files. So there's, the A file, the B file, the C file, D file, E file, F file, G file, H file. And each square is marked by, as I just was explaining, a letter and a number. A1 through 8, B1 through 8, C1, yeah, you got it. And so it was suggested on the Joe Rogan Experience by Joe Rogan's partner that the beads would vibrate, these anal beads would vibrate a certain amount of time from the letter, and then a certain amount of time from the number. Now, no one's really suggesting that Hans Niemann used anal beads to cheat against Magnus Carlsen, but actually I had my phone. I want to look up to see which tournament that was that they were playing, and here's my phone right here. I can look it up. Hey Google, what tournament were they playing when which Magnus Carlsen walked out accusing Heinz Niemann of cheating? Hans Niemann, not Heinz Niemann.
These are the top results.
What top? Let's see. Carlsen Niemann. What? No, Magnus Carlsen. Sits out again. Sits out again too. Let me read this. I put in my code. I'll see as much as I can figure out about that tournament in St. Louis in which Magnus Carlsen walked out playing Hans Niemann. Another GM, I believe. Let's see. Magnus Carlsen sits out again against Hans Niemann for 3 separate games at the World Blitz Team Championship. He plays every other game. Magnus played all 12 of 15 games without Hans, only choosing to sit out in their 1 group stage matchup and their 2-game quarterfinal matchup when paired against TeamGMHans.com. All but confirming Magnus is avoiding playing Hans. Hans went 1-2 in versus Ian I can't say that name. Napolinici, winning 1 game and losing 2, and earned his team lost all 3 matches. And his team lost all 3 matches. Wow. All right. Let me ask more specifically what tournament there was. Hey Google. Okay Google. Hey Google. What was the tournament that Hans Niemann and Magnus Carlsen was playing in St. Louis when Magnus Carlsen walked out?
According to Wikipedia, 3 weeks later, Carlsen released a statement saying that Niemann's behavior during their Sinquefield Cup game, taken together with earlier suspicions, had persuaded him to withdraw from the tournament. Carlsen expressed the belief that Niemann had cheated more often and more recently than he had admitted.
Let's see. The Sinquefield Cup. Now, Hans Niemann had at one point admitted to cheating online to improve his rating, but then he said he never cheated overboard. Let's see, Carlsen Niemann controversy, Wikipedia. Let's see what this says. Alright. I don't know if you give a fuck about all this, but I'm going to try to give you as much information as I can now that I brought it up. Here we go. After the 5th round of the Sinquefield Cup, Niemann gave a lengthy interview addressing the controversy in which he admitted to cheating in online chess in the past, but denied cheating in the game with Carlsen or in any other board game. 3 weeks later, Carlsen released a statement saying that Niemann's behavior during their Sinquefield Cup game, taken together with earlier suspicions, had persuaded him to withdraw from the tournament. Carlsen expressed the belief that Niemann had cheated more often and more recently than he had admitted. Chess.com removed Niemann from their platform in the days after Carlsen's withdrawal from the Sinquefield Cup. FIDE, the international chess governing body, rebuked Carlsen for his actions, but at the same time acknowledged his concerns about chess.com. About what? Well, that's it, I guess, huh? Let's see. Let's see. Chess.com released an interim report summarizing their evaluation of Niemann's games and their estimation of his online cheating on their platform. Many chess players and journalists commented on the issue, some supporting Carlsen's suspicions in one way or another, others criticizing him for his tournament withdrawal and for making allegations without producing evidence. Some expressed the belief that Niemann had not cheated in the game against Carlsen. Most commentators, expressed their desire for strict and consistent cheating controls in chess tournaments. In October 2022, Niemann filed a lawsuit against Carlsen. His company, Play Magnus Group, Chess.com. Chess.com's chief chess officer Daniel Wrench and the grandmaster Hakuro Nakamura for defamation and unlawful collusion. The complaint contained allegations that statements in the Chess.com report had falsely accused Niemann of a more extensive history of cheating in the past than he had publicly admitted, and further alleged that, let's see, where am I? and further alleged that those statements were part of a malicious conspiracy to defame Neiman. The lawsuit was dismissed in June 2023. August 23, Chess.com announced that all parties involved in the lawsuit had settled. Chess.com reinstated Neiman on their platform and let's see. Announced that. Let's see. I missed that. I lost where I was. All right, here we go. I see. Chess.com reinstated Neiman on their platform, and Carlson promised to play against him should they be paired. That December, FIDE fined Carlson €10,000 for his withdrawal from the 2022 Springfield Cup, but acquitted him of all charges related to his allegations against Neiman. Let's see. Springfield Cup. Let's look that up. See what that's about. Let's see. Yinzo Indian Defense. Let's see. September 4th, 2022, in the third round of the Springfield Cup, Neiman defeated Carlson with the Black Pieces playing the Nimzo Indian Defense. Alright, what are they going to show us the game or what? His live ratings surpassed 2,700 for the first time with this win. Described the result, let's see. Slate described the result as a shocking upset for Carlson, ending his unbeaten streak of a player with a lower rating and in a game where he had the first move advantage. Alright. Let's see. This shows the position. After 30 A4, it was put to what? This position after 30 A4, it was put to, this is the 30th move, was A4, played by, I guess, Magnus Carlson. It was put to Neiman at 30 A4, diagram above, was an important mistake because 30 B captures at C4, which means the pawn on B captured the piece on C4, which I don't know what it was. Oh, there's a knight on C4. That's C5. I'm sorry. This might not mean anything to you, and you probably don't give a fuck about it, but I'm going to continue going, even though it's already been 22 minutes of me rambling on. Let's see. Because 30, bishop captured C4, rook captures the C4, 31, G captures F5 would offer a stronger defense. Neiman dismissed this possibility, arguing that after 31, rook to A4 by Black with B7 to B5 to come. Black would soon have the advantage with the two connected passed pawns and the A and B files. Location, St. Louis, Missouri, United States, September 4th, 2022. That's what I wanted to see, was it actually in St. Louis like I suspected, and then finally after all of that, it said that it was in St. Louis. Yes, it was at the St. Louis Chess Club, which I thought it was, in 2022. That's been 3 years ago since that controversy. I remember it well, though. Not just because it was in St. Louis, but mainly because it involved Magnus Carlson, and it became a big deal. I remember it well because it became a big deal. It's been about 24 minutes, and I ain't said shit. Alright. I guess I'm going to hang it up now. After 24 minutes exactly, I'm going to tell you 2 fingers A-Dub Club. See you when I see you. Pizza rolls. Get the fuck out of here.